Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Come on into this dimension. Come on into the room. Come on into this Gridwork container. As today, I do have a extensive energy update, a miniature cosmic grid update, where I'm tying in the connection points from specific locations, specific target locations in terms of intentional spiritual grid work being done onto these locations. Essentially, I've been looking at the connections between the Hawaiian Islands and Washington, D.C. due to the upcoming Guardian rescue mission in Washington, D.C. And essentially what I am finding that there is a lot of interlocking and interlinking density seals, also timeline realities and grid matrices. And I'm talking the grid matrices that belong to the Black Sun agendas, the Tothian Anunnaki systems, the artificial intelligence systems, just the false timelines, or what is connecting into the WISA systems, the wormhole systems, black hole systems, what's running off the Saturnian labyrinth matrices, right? There's all these different layers of these templatings that are running up underneath people's feet while they're simultaneously hooked and implanted into the higher dimensional field of the higher chakra system and the lower chakra system. And essentially, I'm finding that the realms of corruption run off of main pillars or main essential currents of corruption. And so we're going to discuss what those currents are. We're going to discuss what they mean essentially in this update today with the connections from Hawaii to DC. So yeah, we have a lot to get into, and I'm excited that you're here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as you cannot join my live chats unless you are subscribed for at least 1 minute's time, as it does help to, when I place those settings and those controls on my video publications, essentially it helps to weed out the AI Archon bots, and it also pulls in more serious and committed viewers to the channel. So yeah, subscribe, put a big like on this video as it helps me out immensely. If you are down with the shenanigans today, hit that notifications bell and comment and share this video out as well. And thank you so much for your continued love and support of my channel. So I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is doing great. A little bit about me, a little personal update about me is I have just recently moved into a new home here down in the Sunshine State here in Florida. So I'm actually in a new office that I'm filming in, which isn't ready yet. I haven't actually got everything prepared in terms of my background and my lighting and everything that I want to do. So everything's kind of changed and shifted around at the moment. It's taking me some time to figure out exactly what I want to do for my filming environment, my filming aura, and all of that. So that's going to come together piece by piece, I think. My books are actually now in another room, so they're not behind me, as I have an entirely different layout in this house. But yeah, I've just been packing and unpacking and getting settled into my new house. And so I just want to let you guys know, if you've been wondering about me, as I normally am dropping about 2 to 3 videos a week. So I haven't been on for almost 2 weeks now. But essentially it was a smooth move. There was no major hiccups. There was no major problems. So I'm just thankful to have finally made it down here to Florida. And if you've been watching me for a while, you will know I have been essentially trying to move down here for quite some time. I did have to take a home in Alabama for the last 2 years, as the market, the inflation, and the corruption and tampering of the grids in Denver essentially basically displaced me out of Denver. So some of you know 2020 was a big time where we had a lot of migrations and a lot of gentrification that happened. And gentrification, I actually wrote this down. Gentrification means to formerly poor urban areas or low-income family areas, they get changed in character by wealthier people moving in, improving the housing and attracting new business. So that's just really happening. Like, again, there's been a major gap in the income wealth gap that just continues to grow and continues to grow. And so that's really just what happened in Denver. Denver just exploded. It was one of those places that was definitely a safe haven for those trying to get out of California and even Arizona, or some of the Western coastal states, when a lot of craziness and the I would say the severity in the political arena, when a lot of these ideologies really started to break out and be enforced through the bioweaponization of the La Cucaracha. Essentially, a lot of people came to Denver. And so it's just been a booming place for a long time, you know, with weed being legalized there and everything. So I had to look outside of Denver to find a place. And eventually I found a place in Alabama. I sat my butt on the 33rd parallel for about the last 2 years until an opportunity really opened up for me to find a spot down here in Florida. So it's been quite the process of getting here. For me personally, as you know, it just was just one of those things. It just took a lot more. It required a lot of sacrifice. It required a lot of savings to make it happen. So yeah, just a word of advice. If you're feeling stuck in any sort of temporary living situation of any kind due to finances or due to just your family dynamics, relationship dynamics, whatever it is, just know that with focus, with perseverance, with dedication, you can really make anything happen. With patience, of course, it requires a lot of patience, a lot of knowing, being connected to your gnosis, and just never really giving up on what it is that you want, because you will eventually break past whatever blockage is being held in place, especially when you drive that force with the courage of your divine will, as we are very powerful manifestors. Yeah, been doing a lot of money spells, financial wealth gaining spells, things like this. And just know that we are in communication, we're in connection with everything that is universal, everything that is solar, everything that is cosmic. It's all within us, as we can go in and close our eyes and really tune into those things internally and utilize them to work on our behalf. So yeah, we got this. And I was honestly thinking of doing like not like an MTV video, but like the Cribs video, where we do the you know, shooting of the house and give kind of like a house tour. That's what I would like to do. So if you guys are interested in that, put it down in the comments. Let me know that you'd like to do a house tour of my new place, because I honestly would love to show it. Like, I'm just so excited. It's been so much fun. So yeah, let me know. Now, going back to what this video is supposed to be about today, we have a lot of intel to get into regarding the inner grid connections linking Washington, D.C. into and within the Hawaiian grid systems, into corrupt systems, major sea black hole systems, blocked gate systems, density locks, and the Hawaiian grid fields. If you're paying attention to my live videos that I have coming up and coming out, me and Felix Hyde essentially are going to do a remote view on May 10th, 2023. So be sure to just go and set your reminder for that live, guys. I'll just do a quick screen share and show you. Set up a reminder to join us for this live remote view. We're going to be really diving in much more extensively into the Hawaiian gate systems, the vortex systems. Essentially, there are vortex systems running all over Hawaii. Hawaii is loaded, kind of like the there's the Strawway Strait. I think it's like up in Norway, but it's a water current that creates hundreds of thousands of funnels that are just spinning. They're like whirlwinds in the waters, like all over the place. Hawaii energetically is like that. And the landform, holographically, according to the architecture, there are millions of continuous energetic spiral currents that are basically all over the landmass, whether they're magnetic, whether they're electromagnetic, just electric, whatever it is, they are all over. So this is a place that is of paradisian heightened energy. And essentially, it's a sacred geography. This is a very sacred place. This is a place of power. There's a lot of power points. There's a lot of concentration points. There's a lot of mountain and volcanic vortexes, major vortex fields. And so it's really a powerful portal. We're going to get into why and how Hawaii is such a powerful place. There's many reasons for this. But at the same time, Hawaii is also dealing with a deep and detrimental undercurrent of darkness that is, they're taking the soul essence of the indigos. They're taking the feeding off of the soul essence of the indigenous and the natives. And there is a detrimental realm similarly to the harvesting stations in California. There is deep levels of encrypted and underground harvesting systems that are running here within this land templating as well, trying to really block the natural and healing sources here. So this has become, I do feel, a point of focus for the dark ones. And I'm going to get into why and how I do essentially see that. Okay, and it's going to be the darkest of the dark, I can tell you that much, with where we're kind of going with this. So I just want to give a disclaimer, give a heads up that, you know, if none of this information resonates with you, of course, this isn't going to be the video for you today. I am putting this information out to create awareness around these things, and also awareness around what we can do as spiritual healers, as grid workers, as those who are here to restore the degradation of the land and the people. And so, yeah, the information is crucial. But yeah, we're going to be talking about some things today that are going to be things that you may not know about or never have heard about before. So essentially, what is linking these two sites, Washington, D.C. and Hawaii? What I'm seeing is that there are artificial ley lines that are connecting them. What is connecting them energetically through the land coordinates is through blockages in seal systems that are redirecting the natural resources away so they can funnel and implement an artificial ley line, kind of like a tapped surveillance ley line, essentially, where they're running surveillance codes between these two places through artificial algorithms and artificial monitoring and artificial data collection that is used for secret intelligence agencies that utilize the information to develop new technology, to outsource the technology that has already been implemented, to create stronger strongholds on the corruption fields and also on the mechanical systems in which are the driving force, or what is being fed to uphold the corrupted systems. And so essentially what I've been seeing is linking these two sites is hidden in the trails of trafficking. And I want to say child and human cases of this. And so what I'm going to show you guys is an article that I have came across as I started researching the connections between Hawaii and DC more. And what I've come across is this EEOC files its largest farm worker human trafficking suit against Global Horizons farms. So essentially, this is a federal agency labor contractor in 8 farms that discriminated against hundreds of Thai farm workers trafficked to Hawaii and to Washington. So I guess this is the largest case that's ever been filed in US history. You've probably never heard of this because this was really hush-hushed. It was kept very quiet, and it was honestly swept up underneath the rug, as the controllers like to do, is to, the least amount of publicity around these things as possible. But I guess this went down in 2003 and 2007, according to this particular article. But it happened to be the largest human trafficking case in recent US history. Occurred in Hawaii in 2010, was, I guess, the final ending of it all. And Global Horizons Manpower Inc., a labor recruiting company, bought 400 immigrants in 2004 from Thailand to work on the farms in Hawaii. So this was a big deal. The Thai workers were assigned to work at 6 farms in Hawaii: Captain Cook Coffee Company, Del Monte Fresh Produce, Kauai Coffee Company, Kalena Farms, Mac Farms of Hawaii, and Maui Pineapple Farms, and 2 farms in Washington, Green Acre Farms and Valley Fruit Orchards, harvesting a variety of items from pineapples to coffee beans. The EEOC asserts that the farms not only ignored abuses, but also participated in the obvious mistreatment, intimidation, harassment, and unequal pay of the Thai workers. Now, some of you may know that Thailand is really the #1 place in the world for human and child trafficking. The stories that I have heard coming from this about Thailand are absolutely flippin' horrific, that I don't even want to tell you the things that I've heard are happening there. Let's just put it this way: the Willy Wonka of Thailand is participating in what is going on over there. There are not safety laws. There is nothing basically stopping these things from just outrightly being done openly and publicly. So you can only imagine how severe it is over there. And so what I want to get into is, let's kind of, and I know everybody here is aware of trafficking, right? Like, you're aware that this is going on. You're aware that this is a major problem here in the United States and ultimately all over the world. But this really is a massive epidemic on planet Earth. It doesn't just exist on Earth, it also exists off planet as well. They talk about it in galactic human history. They talk about the galactic human slavery, and generally a person is cold. So it's a culling process. It's like a grooming process. We'll just say that. I think that's kind of depicts culling. It's for certain purposes. A lot of times people can be abducted, they can be captured from their families and sold or bartered for many purposes, including manual slave labor, sex trade, engineering, and manufacturing. And then the person is typically mind controlled under systems of threats, intimidation, and torture to remain compliant and submissive to the acts that they are forced to perform for their handlers, who may be human or even non-human entities. And so this plays out on so many different levels and layers, from gangs to secret societies, secret clubs, satanic ritual abuse. Essentially, children are more vulnerable to it because they're considered more valuable to Pedadantia world, who places an order for the type that they may want to use as a slave. And so they're recruiting and finding slavery for profit. So yeah, there's just a lot with this. It is definitely probably the biggest and most unspoken about world slavery system that is very parasitized to parasite off of the soul energy of children and indigo souls and just humankind, and superimpose karmic exchanges on the masses as well. So it's really to retain their control and access over the earth inhabitants. And it's really about some humans feeling that other human beings' lives are not worthy of their own divine will and their own free will. And so it's a warfare over free will. It's a warfare over the soul. It's a warfare over the body. And it's a codependent parasitism with the dark forces, essentially, as having Sethicus on the channel the other day, we went into talking about the parasite, and that this is kind of at the core of the dark forces or the reptilian brain cortex, where the parasite has infected the reptilian brain cortex. And so I'm talking about this because this is what's interlinking in terms of the corrupted grids, Hawaii and Washington, D.C. So this is something that we'll really work to extract and work to clear in our Washington, D.C. event. This will be something that is going to be a major focus for me personally, as it's really, really sad what's going on here. I just want to give you guys some facts about human trafficking. Approximately 75 to 80% of humans that are trafficked, they're trafficked for sex. There are more human slaves in the world today than ever before in history. So this is actually, like I said, this has turned into a plague. This is a pandemic. There are an estimated 27 million adults and 13 million children around the world who are victims of human trafficking. Human traffickers often use a Sudanese phrase, use a slave to catch a slave, meaning that traffickers send in broken-in girls to recruit younger girls into the sex trade. Sex traffickers often train girls themselves, raping them and teaching them sex acts. And what I've heard from these horrendous stories from Thailand is that they essentially, it is the parents who that groom them into sex trafficking. That a lot of times it's even like mother and daughter duos that are doing this type of thing. And this is a very normal thing to be seen. People also can be trafficked for their organs. Human trafficking not only involves sex labor, but people organ harvesting. 80% of North Koreans who escape into China are women. 9 out of 10 of those women become victims of human trafficking, often for sex. If the woman complains, they are deported back to North Korea, where they are thrown into gulags and are executed. An estimated 30,000 victims of sex trafficking die each year from abuse, disease, torture, and neglect. 80% of these sold into sexual slavery under 24, and some are as young as 6 years old. You can buy women for a certain price, 5 to 10,000, make your money back in a week. If she's pretty and young, then everything else is a profit. This is what a known convicted sex trafficker, Ludwig Tarzan Feinberg, has said. And there's so much more statistics here. UNICEF estimates that 300,000 children younger than 18 are currently trafficked to serve in armed conflicts worldwide. More than 30% of all trafficking cases in 2007 to 2008 involved children being sold into the sex industry. This is going on everywhere. Literally going on everywhere. The video of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance video is about human trafficking. In the video, Gaga is trafficked by a Russian bathhouse into sex slavery. Human trafficking is the only area of transnational crime in which women are significantly repressed as victims, as perpetrators, and as activists fighting this crime. Global warming and severe natural disasters have left millions of homeless and impoverished, which created desperate people easily exploited by human traffickers. Over 71% of trafficked children show suicidal tendencies. 71%. My gosh. Sex traffickers often recruit children because they're not Because not only are children more unsuspecting and vulnerable than adults, but there's also a high market demand for young victims. Traffickers target victims on the telephone, on the internet, through friends, at the mall, and after-school programs. So these things go on in regular, everyday, casual neighborhoods too. This is not something that you think is just going on in a bad neighborhood, but it's going on in good neighborhoods. Belgium, Germany, Greece, Israel, Italy, Japan, and the Netherlands, and Thailand, Turkey, and the US are ranked very high in destination countries of trafficked victims. Women are trafficked to the US largely to work in the sex industry, including strip clubs, peep and touch shows, massage parlors that are often sexual services, and prostitution. They are also trafficked to work in sweatshops, domestic servitude, and agricultural work. Human trafficking around the globe is estimated to generate a profit of anywhere from $9 billion to $31.6 billion. Half of these profits are made in industrialized countries. Some human traffickers recruit handicapped young girls, such as those suffering from Down syndrome, into the sex industry. A large human trafficking organization in California in 2008 not only physically threatened and beat girls as young as 12 to work as prostitutes, they also regularly threatened them with witchcraft. Human trafficking is a global phenomenon that is fueled by poverty and gender discrimination. Human trafficking often works with corrupt Willy Wonka officials to obtain travel documents and seize passports. Women and girls from racial minorities in the US are disproportionately recruited by sex traffickers in the US. So, I mean, I could go on and on. I could literally go on and on. One of the reasons why the AIDS epidemic has increased so badly in Africa is because of the rates of orphan children, and that it has left many orphan children, making them especially vulnerable to human trafficking. And the largest human trafficking case in recent US history occurred in Hawaii in 2010. Okay, so yeah, I could really go on and on about this. This is obviously something that is a huge problem. And it's something that, you know, if you believe that we are a free species, you really should ponder these growing statistics. We don't want to look at who's benefiting from the enslavement of human beings on planet Earth, but we need to. We don't want to look at who's benefiting from having sex with our children and why, but we need to. You know, you look at the most recent Balenciaga scandal where they're exploiting children. I mean, this is being done at the top. Okay, so that's why it's such a bigger problem at the bottom, and where it's coming from is the bottom. So I just want to say, however, every action you take, no matter how small, helps bring slavery and human beings suffering from servitude, from darkness into light. So together, if we unite on these types of things, like getting this information out, we can help to end this kind of slavery for future generations. But as of now, this is something that is really not a good thing. So this is why for the Washington, D.C. event, that is one of the things that we're really going to be working on, is to work on the reversal energy. So what this human trafficking is, this is in correlation with reversal Stargate energy. So what is a reversal Stargate? A reversal Stargates are sites, are locations on the Earth that are functioning in reversal encoding. So I think in order to get right with what's going on within the people, within humanity, we have to address the reversal energy that's already functioning in the land through hijacking, through biogeography weaponization, and through installing encoding of anti-life architecture and anti-life purpose, meaning what serves the lesser purpose of death culturalism, stunting and harvesting indigo souls in humankind, binding them in mind control and enslavement to the beast machines. Okay, human trafficking is just another resource of gaining food energy sources to the beast machines. Coming into contact with a reversal Stargate system is the closest that one can get to feeling of a black hole or a wormhole on the Earth's body. So it is the ultimate feeling of hopelessness. And this is what this trafficking makes us feel, is the core of hopelessness. And so it stirs up deep pain, hatred, betrayal, greed, lust, Okay, that's what sexual trafficking is about, is lust. Okay, and again, having no regard for one's own free will or divine will. And they expose the shadow within and without, personally and collectively. So to go to do work on a reversal Stargate, if you're going to join us on the Gridworker mission, there's some things that have to happen in terms of doing this type of work. You have to go through a purification process, and you have to go through deeper levels of shadow work, integration and realization and awareness around shadow and how it comes in, how it's presented, what it looks like, what it feels like, and how to work through it. Because when you go into work on these particular types of gate sites, these types of things really do come up. And to go in as someone who is extracting the energy, transmuting it, extracting, transmuting, right? Collapsing it, condensing it, minimizing the effects on the people in the land. You have to know the risks that go involved in that, but also the rewards as well, because risk often matches reward, right? And so when you work on these particular gate systems, the more you seek to correct the reversal energies, the more reward that you attain personally and also collectively. So that's what we're going to be doing in DC, working on the reversal energy. I wrote a whole bunch about this, so I'll leave this article in the description. This is the landing page to the DC trip, but I went into discussing the technical observations of reversal energy, how it works within the land codes, how it can emit very low VLF, very low frequency emissions, run crucifixion, persecution, Holocaust, gentrification, genocide, artificial intelligence, architecture, and also be running fallen and descendant lineages and lesser spirits, races, and intruder spirits to regenerate and exist through these gate sites. So I talk about kind of what's been observed, what's happening, what's playing out, why these things can exist. I do think there is a templating running from DC to Hawaii. I don't think that Hawaii itself is in reversal energies, that it can never be, because it really truly is much more than that. And I'm going to get into all of that. We're going to go to the map here in just a second. We're going to go over like why Hawaii is a paradisian site. But on this mission, we're going to be correcting energetically child trafficking, human trafficking, comet ping pong, Pizzagate scandal, dark money and politics, density locks and seals. We're going to correct reversal energy, correct the Obelisk network, AI and surveillance tracking, extract negative alien machinery, the Black Tesseract cube, all Saturn matrices and labyrinths, extract parasite reptilian invader energy, extract all evils, and extract global destruction codes. We're going to restore the queen bee and the hive mind and open up all funnels and tunnels into ascension timelines and restore natural and organic resources. So yeah, please read up about this mission and this event. We would love to have you join us with the itinerary that we have and to do this work with us, because it's going to be extremely transformational. Hence why we have to find out all of the interlinking things that are detrimental, and we have to understand it on a greater scale as a whole as to what ultimately we're looking at. So this is a map that I did. This is my Stargate map. And essentially, I've done a lot of charting on here, but what's most important at this time is Hawaii. So we're going to tune into Hawaii because I have some things to tell you about Hawaii. I want you to take note of something very interesting, though, that I just did before I came in. I started to run ley lines through the islands just to see where they went through. And what's interesting about it is Hawaii runs parallel through two major pyramid sites, through the Plum Serpent Feather sacred site in the Yucatan, and also the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan. It also runs parallel to the Eye of Sahara in West Africa, which is the potential location of Atlantis. And it also runs parallel to the Kaaba in Mecca, which is probably one of the most powerful reversal stargates in the world. Absolutely. By the traffic, by the amount of attention and energy that it's constantly fluctuations, this is definitely a very supreme power point. And so it's just interesting. I didn't run it through India and over through China to see where it goes. But I just want to point out that this is a very powerful degree ley line here. I would say this is probably at 22 degrees, maybe about 22 degrees longitude. So I would have to verify that. But yeah, so Hawaii is key, I think, to restoring DC. If we can get in there and release the blockages, okay, the density locks to the Hawaiian, Lemurian, and Mu timeline grids, we could really essentially use Hawaii as a power point of healing to bring to DC. The thing about Hawaii is it is holding a lot of free crystal electrons from the gate systems and timelines of Lemuria. So when you go to Hawaii, you're receiving spiritual antioxidants that basically boost the spiritual immune system, streamlining the direct codes from these ancient times that really represent an archaic mentality that now resides deep in the unconscious and subconscious of humanity that needs to be reawakened. And I've been saying this for a very long time on my channel, is that we have to bring back the codes from Lemuria. Those that are ready need to be initiated to their divine priestesshood rights and priesthood rights, and to be activated to those codes essentially, and to bring forth the reconnection from the great split, from humankind from nature. And this is what is broken in DC, is that great split. So Hawaii is a great place to use as a grid point reference to help charge for global healing and clearing of all reversal gates worldwide, starting with streamlining the energy to the Kaaba, and then therefore generating that to DC and Vatican, and also the other major degradational sites, Shanghai, a lot of locations in China where they're really running hardcore 6G AI technology, Silicon Valley in California, Skid Row, California, all the West Coast essentially. So, and why that is many people come to Hawaii specifically just for healing. How I told you guys, there's thousands of miniature spiral vortexes all over the islands. Many people have grieved and released in these islands. People go to the islands just to heal from death in the family, loss of relationships, breakups, getting over major illnesses and major life changes. Hundreds of families after 9/11, which is another major thing that happened, were gifted trips to Hawaii for healing. And lots of grief was transmuted on the islands. Okay, Hawaii took in the pain of 9/11 and transmuted it for the world. Okay, so it's a pulse point here to the Divine Mother's heart, given the location. The islands of Hawaii are considered exquisite emerald jewels in the Pacific Ocean, and they hold the Emerald Covenant and Emerald embodied encoding. And if you don't know about the Emerald Covenant encoding, it was something that I seen when we were remote viewing Canberra, Australia, and doing that. I had tuned into the Sydney Opera House, and I thought that, and I really felt that that was a place that it was holding Emerald Covenant encoding as well. Hawaii is definitely that place as well. And this means that it's holding the first God world creation founder races. It's holding the Emerald Order. It's holding the Amethyst Order, the Gold Order. It's a unification location in Earth race lines through spiritual healing and freedom to enter these God sovereign freedom worlds. It's supporting the Orifeme and the Indigo Grail lines to awaken and evolve into the Diamond Sun, as it does hold Diamond Sun architecture. It supports all of humanity to regenerate DNA for the Diamond Sun, and it is it's holding all of our hidden history, all of our founder records to the original CDD plates. And so what I mean by that is that essentially, and why it has this is because it's a land remnant of Mu. So Mu, the motherlands of Mu, was a continent that existed in the Pacific Ocean, and the Hawaiian Islands is technically what is left from those pre-ancestral timelines. And the forefathers to the Lemurians and also to the Tahitians, who were actually invaders of Hawaii. So Tahitians also had a Draco bloodline to them, or a bloodline aspect, genetic percentage. But the original natives that carried down the Mu descendancy on the Hawaiian Islands were called the Menehune people, and they may have been the bloodline to the ancient Nakals of Mu. Mena meaning mana, which is the Hawaiian power, and Hoon is the unseen and the hidden. And so, yeah, there is a lot of deeper connections here, and this is why it would hold those emerald founder CDT plates, is because of the connection to all of the human 12 tribes. Okay, the original principal teachings of the motherlands, pre-Lemuria, pre-Atlantean. So there is no doubt there is holographic discs that are protected here that were administered by the original Magi Grail lines on the Earth, who acted as the main guardians on the planetary stargate, on this particular planetary stargate. Okay, they are the ones from Tara, essentially. I do also feel that this ties into the recollection of the dragon bloodlines, that you're going to be repairing those parts there in Hawaii. Not only that, but it has the power of the Polynesian Triangle. You see this triangle here. This is made up of a region of the Pacific Ocean with 3 island groups as its corners, the apex being Hawaii, Easter Islands, Rapa Nui, and New Zealand. And it's often used as a simple way to define Polynesia. So it's in the first position here of this vortex that is very important through this triangular activated ley line. Not only that, we have volcanic vortexes on Hawaii as well. We have the active volcanoes of Kilauea and Mauna Loa, and these are particularly have very much uniquely healing powers, such as qualities of rejuvenation and rebirth, expansion, purging deep emotional and spiritual pain. So we can really tap into the energy of the volcanoes here. What's even more amazing about that is that these are the largest mountains on Earth measured from the seafloor. So Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa are the largest mountaintops in the world. So they are that intermediary point that's connecting heaven and earth together. And so it can draw in here through the tallest mountain and through the water, through the underwater base. It can anchor those realms together and to clear, heal, and also open up the healing portals to Lemuria much more. And so one of the things that we have to purge in terms of the dark matrices in Hawaii is, for one, gentrification is probably the worst in Hawaii. They say that 50% of people who were originally born in Hawaii no longer live there. So their native population, due to the cost of living and the gentrification process that's happened in Hawaii, they're all being removed. They're all being extracted. They're all having to migrate for survival, and because they lose hope, essentially. And so that's something that is not a good thing, because it's displacing the knowledge from the lands and the true genetic code to those lands. Another thing that has to be purged from Hawaii is the human trafficking that's going on there, as it is seen as a place similar to some of these other islands that things of secrecy can be done and kept in secrecy. Hence why Washington needs this great clearing with Hawaii. And also dark money in politics as well. Dark money in politics in Hawaii is rampant, and there's a lot of notable cases of this where there's been a lot of bribery schemes and prosecution where they're targeting in exchange for campaigns and donations. A lot of this is happening corruptedly down in Hawaii. Therefore, it's forcing this lower density community, like a two-dimensional reality bubble, to really take over the people that live there. There's a lot of heightened crime, a lot of heightened murder, a lot of heightened drug activity in Hawaii because of all of this stuff. And so, yeah, these are all just some of the underrealm or underworld portals that have to be cleared more to open up the energy centers to Hawaii. So I think that's one thing that we'll definitely be working on, is the underlying underworld realities of Hawaii, to clear those templating, to try to open up the transmission to DC, to allow the healing energy to come through, because there truly is a living spirit in these islands that is unlike anywhere else in the world. There is nowhere else in the world like Hawaii, actually. If you haven't heard about the Hawaiian chakra system, I'll try to pull a picture up here online with you guys. But the Hawaiian Islands are considered to be their own chakra system. It looks something like this. So you can see these here. Well, let me get a better picture. I want to be able to read the islands to you guys. So the crown chakra is the big Hawaiian island. Or I'm sorry, the crown chakra is Niihau. The third eye chakra is Kauai. The throat chakra is Oahu. The heart chakra is Molokai. The solar plexus chakra is Lanai. Sacral chakra is Maui. And the root chakra is Hawaii. And so it's like their own chakra system within the Pacific Ocean that's transmuting, cleansing, clearing. It's a spiritual 0-point field of drawing in that into a singularity. I'm using singularity as an example because of the ley line system that actually runs here. Going back to my map, and we switch the terrain here over to hybrid, you can see that there is this ridge system underwater here that leads all the way to the islands. So this is actually a chain of volcanoes, of dormant volcanoes over the years that are still running energy frequency to these islands here. So they are supercharged by the ridge. If you look at and take account for this entire Pacific ridge here of volcanic activity that's all connected through transmissions and ley lines and holographic energy and architecture that flows through it, it's generating to this point and then following an underwater volcanic ridge system that actually goes down here to the islands. And this islands then transmits to the most vital spiritual places on the earth, the Yucatan, and also the Kaaba and the Eye of Sahara in West Africa. So yeah, this is a very powerful area, and there are connecting artificial overlays of realities that are drawing this to DC. So as a professional grid worker, I would work to dismantle the artificial reality systems from DC to Hawaii, and then start to utilize the powers of Hawaii to help heal and transmute what is going on in DC. This also has a lot to do with the queen being flipped up and upside down on her back in DC and how they're holding her energy hostage. This may be key pivotal points and how and which ways they are dividing humans from natural existence, from their organic existence. There is something that has been sealed off in the subconscious of humankind when it comes to the natural energies and the and the human being's connection to it, essentially. Because herein lies the trouble with humankind. This is the great umbilical cord that once existed between human beings and the natural world, but it has been severed by exacting the scientific scissors of progress, and that which was once a part of natural human understanding has been relegated to the unconscious mind. That hidden realms are where human beings are so often reluctant, if not afraid, to journey, as if the consequences of rediscovering what has long been repressed would face a man to change his behaviors of his world altogether. This is merely a dramatic paraphrase to what Carl Jung says. Carl Jung put out an article called Healing the Split, and he's talking about healing the split between the symbology of life and where life ultimately comes from, and the disassociation that's happening between human beings with this. And so it may need to just simply be reinstalled back in DC. And so that's just something I'm going to definitely take note of as I continue to work on it. As we continue to draw in the spirit of Hawaii, we're going to work on the living spirit of aloha as well, because this means generosity, forgiveness, and love. And this term aloha has actually survived 200 years of oppression, and it's infused deeply into the culture and personality of Hawaii. Okay, so when we say this word, and this might be a part of my mantras when I do DC work, I might bring in aloha, because it diminishes the wounding aspect of Western culture. It actually breaks it down. The words actually break it down. Another spirit of Hawaii is mana. And this is the recognition that there is an omnipotent force that is the first source, and it is the magic of Hawaii. It is embodied in all that is. And the mana is similarly the feeling of like the Pachamama in Peru, but that will bring that life force energy with us to DC as well. So I hope you guys are looking in to join us for this trip. We would love to have at least a group of about 20. And we have a few, about 5 of us already. So we're looking to add to our mission work here so we can, you know, be the most potent, be the most strategic, okay, with what we're doing here. And so be sure to look at it all over, and also go over what you can expect on this mission, the guidelines for ground grid work on location. There's a whole bunch of stuff I have listed here as to what to prep and prepare for, and what exactly you can expect on this mission work event. So yeah, I hope to see you guys there. All the links will be in the description. Also, another great way to prepare for any type of spiritual work whatsoever is to, whether you're doing grid work or whether you're doing starseed work or whether you are a spiritual healer, is to have seals removed, as this is one way to see more, to see fully, to see more completely in what is going on, particularly within the Earth's matrices, is to have your own seals removed. So also still doing J seal removals, Draco seal removals, and offering the Lemurian regression and implant and tag removal as well, which is very good for the divine feminine, for the sacral chakra, for repairing and healing the artificial implants that were placed during and descended upon the descendants of Lemuria, essentially. Get your implants removed so that way you can free up more of this God sovereign free templating, and you're able to do more deeper etheric levels of work here when it comes to the grid work specifically. Okay, guys, and you can find all of that at IndigoAngel222.com. be sure to check underneath the services and the coursework tab. All the links, again, will be in the description. And thanks for tuning in for this update today. Let me know any comments or any questions down below. And yeah, more to come on this. I think more is just going to keep revealing itself in terms of Hawaii. So we'll be back with Felix on May 10th with that, guys. So, all right. I love you all so much. Namaste, aloha, and take care.